How did you ever come up with such a zany idea? It's ridiculous. It'll never work.
Where do you get off criticizing my business plan? It's a heck of a lot better than your weak-kneed proposal.
Why, what? You wouldn't know a sophisticated marketing plan if it hit you on the head.
You're jealous. That's what it is. You can't stand the fact that I came up with the best plan. Briefings Publishing Group presents
It's Good for Business.
Remember, it's business.
Not personal.
Welcome to It's Good for Business, the show that helps both managers and employees improve productivity, teamwork, and the bottom line. And now, direct from our studios at Briefings Publishing Group, here's Valerie.
Thank you, and a big thank you to all our viewers out there. We recently asked you to send us your stories about improving on-the-job performance. Our topic? It's business, not personal. Taming emotions in the workplace. We received literally hundreds of replies, but one story stood out above all the rest. So we sent our camera team on location just to see if it was too good to be true. In a moment, we'll share what we found and hear directly from today's special guest. But first, this message from Sam in our It's Good for Business Stat Center. Sam?
Hi, I'm Sam Devine here in the It's Good for Business Stats Center, where we compile all sorts of interesting and helpful statistics about business. Our research confirms that keeping your cool in tricky situations is not easy, but it is the right thing to do. How many times have you said something in the heat of the moment that you later wish you could take back? Our studies show that in just about every instance, losing your composure will label you as unprofessional and not cut out for high-profile positions. In fact, your outburst may make such a negative impression that colleagues and clients will be unable to remember anything else about you, permanently damaging your reputation. So, how do you beat the odds when confronted with a highly emotional situation on the job? Start by paying close attention to this program. Today, you'll learn how to tame your emotions when dealing with your boss, co-workers, and customers. Just remember, it's business, not personal.
All right, Sam. By staying focused on your objectives, remaining calm and well-spoken, especially in difficult situations, you'll earn a reputation as being mature, reliable, and professional, just like today's special guest, Mr. Calm, Cool, and Collected himself, Kevin O'Brien.
Valerie, it's great to be here.
Kevin, tell us about your company and give our viewers some background on yourself.
Sure, Val. I work in the sales department at CompuDocs. We're a computer repair company that specializes in large corporate accounts. I've worked in the department for 4 years, and I've built up an excellent client portfolio.
And that success is no fluke. In fact, we understand that a big part of that success is due to the excellent rapport that you exhibit with supervisors, co-workers, and customers. Let's take a look at this example featuring Kevin's boss.
Where is he? I'm going to talk to him right away. I can't believe it. Kevin, I need to speak with you right away.
Sure, Mr. Mallory, what do you need?
Well, for starters, a lot more progress on the database project. I just met with Hillary Jones up in corporate, and she was very agitated about our lack of progress. You're not making me look good, Kevin. In fact, if you and that database team don't get it in gear, there's going to be a price to pay, and I'm not going to pay it alone. Understood?
Yes, sir, Mr.
Oh, I'm out of here.
Ooh, very cool, Kevin. Very cool. How are you able to listen so calmly?
Look, work is often demanding, fast-paced, and stressful. And at times, it's natural to be upset, but you don't want to show it, especially when your boss is involved. What you want to do is demonstrate your maturity and your ability to control emotions. Your boss will think a lot better of you for it, and he will see you as someone who's able to handle himself in a difficult situation.
Yes, that is a good way to show that you can handle demanding assignments, and it may just put you in line for a promotion.
Exactly.
Let's take another look at that encounter. And Kevin, share with us some of the techniques you use to tame your emotions with your boss.
I just met with Hillary Jones up in corporate, and she was very agitated about our lack of progress.
freeze it right there. The first thing you want to do is to analyze your reaction. When you start feeling upset or angry at what your boss is telling you, take a closer look at what is the cause of your anger. Is it covering up some emotion that you should examine?
You're not making me look good, Kevin. In fact,
When I thought about my anger, I discovered that I was actually feeling irritated with myself. I was part of the team responsible for the new customer database, and we had let the project fall behind. You see, Valerie, my anger at my boss's complaints was actually masking my own guilt.
So by analyzing the root cause of your anger, you were able to tame your emotions with your boss.
Yes, he had a right to be upset, and I really didn't.
So what did you do next?
Well, that leads me to my next tip.
Okay, which is?
Channel emotions into positive behavior. Once you get control of your emotions, you can move on to something positive.
well, now that you've explained some of the problems the team is having,
That afternoon, I met with my boss about the database project. We had a good discussion concerning the causes of the delay and what we could do to get the project back on track.
I'm depending on you, Kevin.
That meeting turned the situation around. Later that week, my boss put me in charge of the database team. By taming my emotions, I actually created a new opportunity.
So did things go smoothly from there on?
Not exactly. The database project was complicated. We were dealing with a new vendor who really didn't understand our corporate culture and some custom software that still had bugs. Now that I was team leader, I was faced with even more challenges.
So how did you handle it?
Well, here's another technique I used. I learned to
I see you
take
finally got the
feedback
duplicate names and
gracefully.
addresses.
When your manager gives you some constructive criticism, receive the comments calmly.
I would suggest double-checking these entries against those you find in the billing department files.
That's a good idea. I'll make sure to get that done.
Good.
My team's performance still needed improving, and my boss had some practical suggestions. I let him know that I was always open to feedback. He appreciated that.
Those are helpful suggestions, Mr. Mallory. The team really appreciates your feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, I see we have a caller on the line who'd like to offer us a tip of her own. Sally, go right ahead.
Am I on the air?
Yes, give us your tip.
Well, whenever I disagree with my boss, I always give my opinion diplomatically. I hold my comments until I can suggest an alternative solution. Then I keep my criticism constructive and ask permission to give my point of view. I say something like, I'd like to share something that runs a bit counter to your idea.
You know, Sally, that's a great tip. Thank you. Kevin, what do you think?
I agree. A savvy boss will always welcome another perspective, especially one that's presented professionally.
Hold on. Sam's got a comment. Sam?
Those are a couple of great tips. The staff here at the Stats Center has come up with one more. Clear the air constructively. We've done a survey on this one, and the results are conclusive. When you need to talk to your manager about a problem, you want to frame the issue in a constructive manner. Start by introducing your suggestion. Say something like, I'd like to share an idea that I think will help us work better together. Then proceed by asking a question. For example, would it be possible to schedule a longer meeting so we have more time to go over your instructions? Then elaborate. You could say, I need more time to ask questions before I start my projects. Then end the conversation by suggesting a positive solution, like, well, I'd be willing to meet earlier in the day when we both have more time to talk. That would give us a chance to discuss more of the details before I actually start my job.
Let's give Sam a hand for those great tips. And we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. We've had a lot of great tips for taming emotions with your boss, but how about with your coworkers? To help us along in this area, we've invited a special guest to join us, Kevin's coworker, Barbara. Barbara, welcome to the show. Have a seat. Barbara, what's your take on difficult coworkers?
First, Valerie, I've just got to tell you how exciting it is to be on your show.
Thank you.
Second, I want everyone to know that I am not a difficult coworker, no matter what Kevin has told you. But seriously, difficult coworkers are impossible to avoid, so dealing with them professionally is a vital skill.
Kevin?
I couldn't have put it better myself. The goal is to maintain a good working relationship, regardless of what your personal feelings are for a coworker.
Always remember, it's business, not personal.
Oh, that's my line.
Oh.
You're right, of course. You know, if you keep your composure, you'll outlast those irritating coworkers. Sam, what do the stats say?
First, you'd be surprised at the high percentage of workers who fail to examine their own behavior. You really need to ask yourself if you're doing anything to provoke your coworker. Now, if a coworker does something that irks you, avoid shaking your head, rolling your eyes, sighing, groaning, waving your hand away, sarcastic tones, scowling, or finger pointing.
Sam, I hope you never get irritated with me. But really, how should you act when someone's provoking you?
That calls for a different technique. Control emotional encounters.
We've got a tape queued up. Roll it.
Kevin, I have got a bone to pick with you.
What's the problem, Linda?
Where do you get off implying that my work is sloppy? You know, I've put in just as much effort on this database project as anyone else on the team.
Linda, if you'll give me a chance, I'd like to tell you my side.
Okay, freeze it. When a coworker provokes you, you want to keep your body language and speaking tone neutral and non-threatening. You should also breathe deeply. This makes you sound calmer. Okay, roll it again.
I never said that your work was sloppy. When Mr. Mallory questioned me about our progress, I had to admit that there were a lot of duplicate names in the database. I never blamed any specific team member for the problem.
Freeze it for a moment. Did you notice how I paused between each sentence? Slowing down helped me to remain in control. Also, I looked Linda directly in the eyes. That bit of body language indicated that I was being truthful. You know the old saying, can he look you in the eyes when he says that? Okay, roll it.
We have to work together on this.
You know, ever since the boss made you team leader, you've been taking all the credit and giving all the blame.
If the conversation gets too heated, step away and try again later when tempers are cooler.
I would really like to talk to you about this, but I have a 2 p.m. meeting.
Let's give Kevin a hand. He handled that very well. I understand we have a caller on the line. Miguel, do you have a question for our two guests today?
Yes, Valerie. I've been having problems dealing with a coworker, and I want to know if I should take the matter to my boss.
Good question, Miguel. Kevin, Barbara, when do you go to your boss?
Miguel, are you still there?
Yes, I'm listening.
First, I would explore your options by making a list of the things that frustrate you about your coworker. Once you see them in writing, you may decide that some are not worth mentioning. Other things may be more serious and you might want to mention it to your manager.
Miguel, I would add, if you do bring an issue to your boss, frame it objectively. Don't just blame the other person. You might say something like, Jim and I seem to be having a conflict that's affecting our work, and I'd like your help to resolve it.
Thanks. Those are great tips. I'll give them a try.
Valerie, I would like to add one other tip. Get a second opinion.
That's a must.
Odds are that others are having similar problems with the same individual. In fact, you don't even have to name names. Just ask your coworkers if they found an effective way of dealing with the difficult behavior in question. That may give you the help you need.
Very good. Barbara, thank you so much for being on our show today.
It was my pleasure.
Sam, before the break, do you have any tips to add on communicating with difficult coworkers?
Sure do. If you are having a disagreement with someone, I advise you to keep emotions out of email. If you're stewing over something, sit on it for a day or so. Then have a colleague review your email before you send it, just to be sure. Statistics show that terse or critical emails often backfire because they're not accompanied by your tone of voice, facial expression, or body language.
Okay, we've talked about bosses and coworkers. Now, it's time to talk about taming emotions with customers.
When you come in contact with customers or potential customers, you're shaping their opinion about both you and your business. You really can't afford to lose your cool, even when the customer is in a rage. If you do, you run the risk of losing a customer for good or leaving an impression that's hard to erase.
So it's important to choose your words carefully.
That's right. When a customer verbally attacks you, the immediate reaction may be to respond in kind, but that will only escalate the situation. You need to focus on removing the emotions from the situation. Here's what to do.
This is the absolute worst service I've ever received.
Start by letting the customer vent. Avoid condescending language like, "You need to calm down." That will only make the customer angrier. Instead, listen carefully for the first 30 seconds in silence. Be sure to listen to what the person is and isn't saying. When he finishes venting, be prepared to diffuse the customer's anger.
Your late delivery has caused me major problems.
Begin by paraphrasing their comments.
I'm sorry that our late delivery caused you problems, Mr. Bradley.
Well, that order should not have been late.
Then, empathize with a related statement that acknowledges the customer's annoyance.
Yes, you have every right to be upset. The late delivery shouldn't have happened.
Well, I'm glad you recognize the problem.
Have 5 of these statements ready to calm an exasperated customer. But be careful to avoid cliches like, "I know just how you feel." They sound phony and could cause you to lose your customer's trust.
You really handled that well. How about it, audience?
Thanks, but we're not done yet. Our next goal is ask questions to gather information.
Mr. Bradley, I understand how important this issue is to you.
Well, it is.
I'd like to ask you a few questions so that I can get this problem straightened out as soon as possible. Now, can you tell me the exact time that the package arrived?
It arrived at 2 p.m.
You want to validate the customer's concerns by letting him know you'll be taking action.
Could you tell me the shipping number?
I tried tracing the shipping number, but it didn't work. Let me read it off the shipping label. Hang on, let me get it.
Asking questions is a way to uncover the source of a problem. If a customer doesn't reply or continues to be angry, don't give up. Politely repeat the question and try to uncover the source of the problem.
Way to go, Kevin. I've got an email from Bonnie, and it doesn't criticize anyone, by the way. Bonnie writes, "When I'm dealing with angry customers, I find that taking notes conveys my concern. The customers appreciate the time and serious attention I'm giving, which often changes their negative attitude."
Taking notes is an excellent way to calm an angry customer. When I take notes, I tell the customer to slow down so that I can get all the information. Slowing down a customer helps them organize their thoughts.
Hold on. Sam is buzzing me. Sam.
Once you've got emotions out of the way, you're ready to solve problems logically. Statistically, most angry customers will be more receptive to hearing solutions once they've calmed down.
Sam's right. Once you get past the anger, it's time to summarize your action plan. Be specific. Say when you're going to do it and what the customer should expect. Let's say you're on the phone. You might say, "I'll research your order immediately and call you back within 30 minutes with an answer. Regardless, I'm going to send a replacement part by express mail with delivery tomorrow by 10 a.m.
Well, that's how you turn around a negative customer. If you want to be seen as a capable, mature person who is a professional, even in the most difficult situations, practice taming your emotions. Angry reactions or outbursts are unlikely to lead you anywhere positive. Instead, learn to visualize positive outcomes and then communicate your way to a constructive resolution. Your calm, professional manner will go a long way to enhancing your reputation with supervisors, coworkers, and customers. Remember, it's business.
Not personal.
Kevin, you've been an outstanding guest, and I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thanks, Valerie.
Can we give Kevin a big hand, please? And I want to thank you for watching, and good night from all of us at It's Good for Business.
For more ways to improve workplace relationships, check out these programs by Briefings Publishing Group. Being positive in the workplace. Good attitudes are contagious. Arrest that stress. How to depressurize your work life. And how to resolve conflict at work.